Where were you at?
Bathroom.
Okay.
No 2 on 2.
One down here is closed.
Gotcha.
All right.
Just one who I expected to come off the elevator.
Yeah, really.
Cameras, whenever you guys are ready.
Anybody else in the bathroom?
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
We good? All right. All right, so really 2 days out now. This is Thursday, and all mindset for us as a football program. So, normal Thursday procedures we go through practice-wise, staff-wise, everything the same. So, really got a one-game season, and that's all it is. And that's what we talked to the team about. This game's all that matters. We've got some really good seniors that we played in their last game at home. We've also got opportunity to accomplish some things that not a lot of teams have accomplished here in a long time. Those are all credit to our players and our staff for the way they've gone about the season to put themselves in a position to be able to do these things. We've had some adversity at times, and I think that's the mark of the true character of a not just an individual but an entire organization or team is how they handle the adversity and able to come back and take challenging times, challenging things, and be able to improve themselves and become a better version of themselves. So that's what we're working to do now, working to do this week, and continue to play the guys that'll play. We know we're banged up. We've been banged up, but had a little bit of a chance, a couple extra days, I guess you'd say, not a real bye week, but a couple extra days to get some guys healthy. And but that's what it is this time of year. So play the guys that can play and have a good plan. The big thing is believing in the plan and having confidence in it with the players. And we've been well on our way. So you practice well during the week, it just gives you an opportunity. It doesn't guarantee anything. So but we've had a good week of practice and looking forward to play on Thursday. So.
Questions? Go ahead, got it.
You guys have had some guys banged up. How much should help having an extra bye here, that third bye, to maybe get some guys back for Thursday?
It's a couple extra days. Like guys, some of the more than guys that are injured. A couple extra days doesn't do a whole lot of difference. It's the nicks and bumps and bruises of a season, the toll of a season, especially some of the positions we're a little thin at still. Need to continue to get those guys in position to be the freshest they can. It's a night game, so that's again a little bit extra time during eight extra hours or so, 7-8 hours during the day to help that as well.
You're facing a different defensive front than you've faced most of the year on Thursday night. What kind of adjustments, or are there adjustments that Weston and the rest of the line have to make?
It's really, we've faced everything really. There's really only 3 ways you can play a defense. You have 3 down linemen, you have 4 down linemen, or you can have 5 down linemen. Very few play with 1. Very few play with 2. 6 sometimes on the goal line when they get into like a gap 8 deal. But no, I'm serious. Like there's 3. The center's either covered, he's uncovered, or he's covered and both guards are covered. That's the way we look at it. You have to break it down to be one of those 3 things. It's an odd front, it's a 4 down front, or it's a bare front. And you don't want to make things too overcomplicated with guys and different schemes and this and that. Well, every week's a different schematic thing. What's important is what we do. We have rules to our, not just run plays but protections. We have rules, and rules to be able to, cover any of those fronts. Personnel's different, techniques are different, yeah. But if you try to change what you do each week, based on who you're going against, you're never going to get good at anything. You can't do that. You can't live in that world. So, what makes it challenging is not, schematically, but there's a lot of hats around the ball. They play a lot of cover 1, cover 0. Expect we'll see a lot of that as well. Fair, good amount of movement blitzing. Either 3 to side either way, or bringing them all. A lot of max blitz. So those are the things that are challenging. We got to be able to handle the pressure and the blitz and have answers and be able to adjust to it.
Coach, I know last year you had said multiple times. One of the goals of this program is to always get to a bowl game. To do it consecutive years with this class, what does it say about them and the legacy they leave after everything they've been through to do that in back-to-back years?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd love to answer it, but we got one thing right now we're worried about, and that's one bowl game, and it's on Thursday night. So there's no legacies are still being created. Right? There's a lot of season left, right? And the one that matters is Thursday night, and we'll handle those other things, and we'll have time to talk about and rejoice back in the memories, or what is it, rejoice in the memories, whatever it is, bask in the memories later on. But we had too much work to do to be able to go out and compete against a really good NC State football team on Thursday.
I think you alluded to some important things Thursday night, one of them being going undefeated at Bobby Dodd Stadium. How big of a step is that in the building of this program?
It's happened 2 times in the last, 60 years, 58 years, 60 years. So, for these kids, those are things you want to stack. You want to stack those types of accomplishments together, so that at the end of the year, at the end of the season, you can have time to reflect. That's what I was looking for. You reflect back on them. But yeah, I mean that's a huge thing for these guys to be able to do and accomplish. And but it doesn't, this game is not played any different than the last game or the game before, the game before, the game before. Because of that, I mean, at the end of the day, we got to play one play at a time. And everyone on this team is involved in the outcome of it. Whether you're on the field playing, you're on the sideline, coaches, staff, student assistants, student managers, student trainers. I mean, everyone in this entire organization is involved in the outcomes on Saturdays. All right, we have to understand that we've shown glimpses of being a really good football team, right? Being a great football team at times. And we've shown that we can do those things. Now we know what we're capable of doing. Right now it comes down: are we willing to do that every single week? Right. In order to do it every week, it starts the first day of the week with preparation. Right. It continues out through the week. It's having the right mental and emotional discipline throughout not just the week, but then into the game. Playing one play at a time. Not worrying about what the scoreboard is, not being outcome oriented. Going out and playing our absolute tails off. And that's what our goal is for Thursday night.
I know sometimes when a team has a big win, like a top 5 team, for example, the next week not to say that that's happened here, but there's a chance for like a letdown. The fact that you had an extra week off, do you sense that everyone on the team's kind of moved past that Miami game and is ready for NC State?
If they're not, they're going to have a problem, right? Even more so if they're not ready for Thursday night. I mean, that was 2 weeks ago. I mean, in the world of football, 2 weeks is like 2 months, sometimes like 2 years. I mean, every day is like a dog's life, like 7 by 1, right? So, I mean, if people, I mean, what do you use the previous week for? Corrections, adjustments, understand what you've done well, not done well, right? And that's why we have correction walks at the next practice, right? But then after that, it's done. It's over. I mean, we hit the field last week, back on the field. And it was a good win. The kids understand that. But what do you want to be? You want to be a team that's remembered for a good win or a good season. I mean, that's a big difference in that, right? Teams have good seasons; those become legacies. Those are the ones you reflect back on later on, right? A good win, right? So what now? What I mean, they're good at the time, but we play a full season, and that's what these guys have to continue to understand and build upon. Is that our goal doesn't change each week, and I think they've improved on that. I do think they're improving, and it'll be a telltale on Thursday night versus a good football team in a good environment.
Obviously, the NC State offense has evolved a little bit with C.J. Bailey after Grayson McCall retired midseason. Just what have you seen from him and their offense over the last few weeks as they've kind of evolved with their freshman quarterback?
Yeah, well, they're doing what he does best. I mean, look, it's not easy to put a freshman quarterback in there and have him your entire team relying on you. You want to be able to take some I call them breather plays, not have as much on his plate every single play. But they're passing the football. I mean, they're throwing the ball. He's a guy that doesn't look to just pull the ball down and run every time. If he doesn't see it there, I think they're doing a good job offensively. From a play call standpoint, a design standpoint of trying to keep it simple for him. where he's not having to have full field, deep progression type routes all the time. And with that, with the controlled passing game comes ability to still manipulate the clock and control the time of possession. And I think they're a top 10 team in the country in time of possession. So, still to be able to, play into the quarterback's strengths, right, and still have your, the foundation principles of your football team, right. It's a mark of a good team to me.
The run defense numbers have been a significant leap forward from last year to this year. Looking at a defensive line perspective, in terms of growth, what has impressed you most about the step forward that unit's taken?
Well, we spent a lot of time in the offseason building the depth and developing the depth. The unselfishness is one thing that jumps out. I mean, you're not looking for guys that want to get stats and have things on paper. You want guys that want to play within the scheme of the defense. And that starts, with the way Tyler presents and installs it. Then he goes from there to really the way Jess coaches and teaches it. And then, it's in that room where, the position coach, in this case Jess and Kyle Pope, speaking of injury reports, but where those guys have created a total buy-in to the defense, right? And the unselfishness they play with to allow the linebackers and safeties, to make the tackles. And once you start seeing success and you start seeing improvement, that's the thing, man. Like, we're still dealing with 18, 20, 22-year-old kids, right? They've got to be able to see themselves have success. You got to show improvement. Right? We ask them to do a whole lot every single day. So for them to do it and not see the improvement, you're never going to get buy-in. So for them, once they start to feel the defense improvement and the success that the defense has, there in turn the success that the team has, it's a lot easier to get the buy-in from them to do what they're supposed to be doing. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want every single person to just do their job. Right? You need to worry about what the backers do, or if you're O-lineman with the running back, just do your job. Right? Let the others worry about their job. And if collectively we can do that, everyone just does their job and does the best they can do, right, you're going to have a chance.
Taking Rod's running back question, so I hope that's okay, Rod. What's it say about Trey Cooley to persevere and put himself in position to contribute here at the end?
Yeah, I think that's one of those questions that, first off, I'm very proud of Trey. Right, he's gone through a lot this year, and never once did anyone in this program waver on Trey Cooley. Right, we've been there with him and want to make sure he has what he needs to be successful 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Right, not necessarily in the moment as it is, but I think that's one of those questions you probably ask the locker room, ask the players. I think that'd be interesting to ask the players that, because what we do as coaches pales in comparison to what takes place in that locker room and how they have a brotherhood and a lean on each other. And it's not always smooth and nice and easy. I mean, they're going to tell them what they need to hear, but I think that'd be a good question to ask the locker room.
Thursday nights here are usually pretty special games, and the atmosphere and stuff, and you get the full attention basically of the college football audience. Just kind of, can you talk a little bit about Thursday night games at Bobby Dodd and kind of your memories and the specialness of those games? Yeah.
So as far as getting the attention of everybody, like that's, we go play in Piedmont Park if they'd let us. I mean, it's not about the other people seeing it. It's if you're doing it the right way as a player. You're worried about what your teammate, all right, what the guy next to you does. You're worried about how you play, right? Scoreboards don't matter, so watch the TV cameras. Right. Now, on the flip side, for the exposure that you're trying to get in a program, we've had a lot of unique opportunities this season to get really good exposure for Georgia Tech. Right, and not just Georgia Tech football, not just Georgia Tech athletics, but Georgia Tech as a school. Then in turn that bleeds into the Georgia Tech athletics as a whole, and then into the football program. And if the football program can be any sort of a vehicle to get more positive exposure, and rightfully so for Georgia Tech, right, then we're going to take that opportunity every single time. I have a lot of really good memories of Thursday night games. I mean, it was a lot. It's special. It's special to be on that sideline, and nighttime and the lights in the buildings and the city, and there's gonna be a little crisp breeze in the air on Thursday, and a clear night. It's one of the first places they started doing it at. I mean, it's been over 40 times now. There's been Thursday night games, and that's what I want these guys to understand. Because in a few weeks, the 2024 Georgia Tech football team won't exist anymore. Right? It'll only be on a piece of paper. It'll only be in memory. Like I told the team today, it'll only be when they get back together again. All right. So when they do get back together, I want those guys to have the chance to share a lot of really good memories of this season. One of them being their final game at home in front of our fans and our students, who have been unbelievable this year. Our fan base, the way they've come out, how loud they've been, all right, and our students, to have the buy-in and the connectivity between the team and our students, they'd run through brick walls for our students right now. I mean, they would truly, because they know how much that means to us, and to have a lasting memory of that being on Thursday night for the rest of the country to see our fan base, see our students, and how important it is for our students to be the best student section in the entire country. All right, those are the things that are cool.
When we talked to Jackson Hawes, he said one of the things he really liked about coming here was the fact that the players show each other tough love, when mistakes are made or that type of thing. Is that something you notice as a coach? They're holding each other accountable.
I don't know where they get it from. So I try not to go in the locker room. Right? I think the locker room's a sacred place. The locker room's a special place for the players, to the point where when I became the head coach, I mean, I sealed up the door to the coaches' locker room in there so the coaches don't go through there. That doesn't mean we don't have people in there. It don't mean we don't, keep eyes on, things going the right way. But that's a sacred place in there. I mean, I want those guys to be able to do that, right? That's where, people talk about the word culture. That's where culture is created, right? Or that's where culture is not created, right? That's where culture could be ruined, is in the locker room. Right? And if you're going in there and impeding on their time in their locker room, trying to find out what's always going on, you're never going to get a real feel for it. And you're going to get you're probably not going to get the holding each other accountable as much. So, again, that's probably a player question, more so than to me. But that's what it's about. When you tell a team they have ownership in something, right, well, that's a tremendous responsibility that comes along with it. And the more they understand that, and they understand that what they do and say with other players impacts what happens on Saturdays, right, then you have more guys starting to speak up.
Time for a couple more.
I thought it was very telling in the Miami game, seeing the depth of the secondary, and you had two starters out, guys stepping up and developing that quality depth and the quality of play back there. What have you seen from that group in terms of developing throughout the season and kind of where they're at now?
The versatility. It's, you can think I'm crazy, but I really feel that there's a lot of similarities in the offensive line and the DBs. Right? There's two corners, two tackles, there's two guards, two safeties. All right? There's a nickel and there's a center. Right? But they all have to work together. All right? The difference is the offensive line's within a 8-yard box. All right? And the DBs are playing in a 53-yard wide box. But they still have to communicate. They still have to play together. They still have to work together. So early in the season, when we were playing a lot of guys in that at those spots, it was for a reason. Right? It was so when we get to this point of the year, all right, and something goes down, someone goes down, and something happens, we've got guys with experience and versatility. Otherwise, you get into game 7, 8, 9, 10, and you got guys who are going in and playing for the first time. That's a recipe for disaster. Right? So you take some lumps early on, you do when you play that way, but in the long run, it's what's best for the entire football team.
Anything else, Chad?
Jordan Williams started 50 games for you guys.
Has he really?
Yeah, just him.
This is
No, the last one.
Yeah. Well, just your thoughts on him and that, and being a part of this program for the long run.
50. He's number 54. So 50 games. That's a lot of play. What's the most ever here? And it's like,
52.
is it Sean? It's Sean, right?
No, it's Roddy Jones.
Roddy?
Yeah.
Roddy.
So,
That don't count. That don't count.
he broke the record for linemen. Andrew Gardner had the record.
Well, what's Roddy?
Roddy's 52.
So the bowl game
So-
will get him there.
He could tie it against Georgia and break it in the bowl game.
What up? All right, so Jordan. I'm not gonna say one thing about him playing, but I remember vividly the first day back. So 2020, Jordan comes in as a mid-year guy. Goes through spring practice, all 6 days of it, and we leave. And, everybody remembers how it went during COVID. Everybody's going. You're calling your players, you're checking, hey, are you doing your push-ups and your sit-ups and all this? Are you eating good? Oh, yeah, yes, sir, Mom's cooking me good. The first day back, we had scales set up in the indoor. You couldn't get near anybody. Jordan walks in, I'm like, who is this? I said, get on that thing. And I think the scale went up to 360 and stopped or broke. So that's the highest read we got on him. He looked like the Goodyear blimp. I mean, he gained about 50 or 60 pounds over those couple of weeks or months, whatever it was. It was the darndest thing I've ever seen out of an 18-year-old kid. And then, he's working himself to get back in shape, ends up winning the starting job then. The first game, I mean, couldn't even keep his shirt tail tucked in. He's still so big. And as any time a freshman O-lineman's playing, right, they're either really, really, really good, right, or it's out of necessity. Okay, I know, for myself, it was definitely out of necessity when I had to play early. I sure wasn't good enough, but Jordan, some of them I remember vivid. It's weird because I know I'm rambling here, but I love Jordan Williams now. I really do. And to be someone that's gone through, 5 years here, 50 games, I guess you say, and what he's gone through in a program and stuck with it. And I'm sure he's had opportunities to leave many times and go wherever he wanted. To have a guy stick through what he stuck through at Georgia Tech and be able to say now that it's 50 games he started, that's pretty remarkable to me. Right? But as a coach, you remember the bad things. And they stick with you because those are the learning moments. Those are the learning moments being in the Carrier Dome at Syracuse and no one's in the stadium and, you have a 5-man protection. You're supposed to squeeze it on the front side and you don't. And the guy comes free and strip sack fumble. Right? You learn from those things. You do. And, he's learned from them over the years. And then jumping in, playing guard for us in a pinch when we needed to. Playing, different spots. I'm going to miss his face around here. I am. Jordan, good kid, is growing into a really good man.
Jeff, you want to wrap this up?
What are the emotions like for you on a senior night when you go out and the parents give you a hug and all that stuff and you're seeing these kids for the last time on the home field? And I imagine that's a little bit emotional even as focused as you are on the game, and I know how locked in you get on game days, but is there anything that goes on through your head as you're doing that?
Yeah, I mean, for years, remembering my last game, remember my senior day, remember how special it was. You think about it in the moment, but you really don't understand it till later on. This is going to be a special one though, so might have to give you a hold and wait and give you that answer later on. Just think about last year. I'm saying, Jay King, Dylan, all the guys that just last year had meant so much to this program, and then you got the guys that come in for 1 year. You got the last year Connor. I mean Jackson, Warner. I mean these guys that are 1 year guys that come in, but really become part of our culture and our program, right? And I don't care if you're here 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, whatever Jordan's been here. But, or you're as old as Sylvain, or you've been here for 1 year like Jackson. I mean, when you go through the program and you leave here, you're a tech man, and that's important to me.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
That's it? All right, see you. Thanks. Go Jackets! About threw me off there talking about